Get started with Xfinity Internet for $35 a month for 12 months and get free Wi-Fi equipment included. Or ask how to save $1,000 over T-Mobile in your first year when you add mobile. Switch today.
I see all this, and I just didn't have words for it.
Shock and disbelief.
Total. It's bad.
Tornadoes cutting through the mid-state, including this powerful EF3.
And I ran and just jumped in the back seat as the tornado just took the whole shop around me.
Tonight, a new threat as flooding concerns rise.
God's good. He is going to take care of us.
Team coverage as Fox 17 News at 9 starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
24 hours after tornadoes ripped through Middle Tennessee, we have a new threat tonight, flooding. I'm live downtown at the Cumberland River, where the river marker behind me here shows it cresting around 37 feet tonight. That is where it should stop as we go through the next few days, of course, drying out. For perspective, this is the highest that the Cumberland River downtown has been since 2019, where it crested at 40 feet. And before that, 2010, where, of course, it was a lot higher, well over my head, cresting at about 53 feet down here. We have team coverage tonight as we cover Maury County, the site of an EF3 tornado, and in Rutherford County, where we're also dealing with flooding there as well. Scott and Megan, it has been a devastating 24 hours.
Katie, that it has, and tonight we know the name of the woman who was killed by that powerful EF3 tornado that touched down in Maury County. Relatives identify that victim as Cheryl Lovett.
Well, an assessment in and around Columbia indicates that tornado destroyed 40 homes and damaged about 100 more. Fox 17 News' Dennis Ferrier with stories of survival tonight.
It was a wild ride all over Middle Tennessee, but you know by now that there's always a place or two that is particularly terrorized. In this case, it's Maury County, where this tornado just damaged homes and damaged lives.
When a tornado looks like this, you know it's trouble. It's big, it's powerful, it's on the ground, and it's heading your way. Mike Petro is trying to get back to his neighborhood, a neighborhood in instant terror after that tornado hit.
Total. It's bad. Can't even get through it. Power lines. Our community came together yesterday for about 45 minutes to an hour, just clearing one tree off the road, making people go through, walk people down to their homes. Cars were left miles and miles down the road. People had to walk and run, screaming, my house, my mom.
This is the only home Tammy Johnson has ever known. 66 years here, all wiped away in moments.
I guess that whole front end up there, it blew out and things started moving around, and I tried to get him over to I got a cord and put him a leash like this on him. I said, we got to get downstairs. And then by the time I walked through there, like I said, I seen a lot of men standing out there. And he says, hey, you okay? I said, please come help me. At that point, I didn't know if it was going to fall in or not. Thank God it didn't. But I got out. They carried me through my mom's bedroom window.
Tammy is just happy to get out alive with her beloved dog, although she can't imagine what her late parents would think.
I guess I just tried to block it out, you know. It just makes me sick. I'm just glad my mom and dad's not here to see it.
There is no unseeing what happened at Meadow Hill Farm Weddings. This beautiful venue took a terrifying hit, and the owners wrote about their heartbreak on Instagram. Quote, it's a nightmare we can't wake up from. 10 years of blood, sweat, and tears. 90-hour weeks touching every inch of that property with our hands. Couples, we will be reaching out to you, but please give us a moment to get through the shock of this. We love you all. Might take more than a moment. Neighborhoods like this take at least a year for restoration, often longer. When why me becomes what's next. Mike Petro couldn't wait any longer. He decided to walk the long 2 miles to his home, the first steps of an even longer journey.
Just be community with unity, and that's it, you know. Come together, have patience, and just rebuild, clean up, help one another. You like him, you don't like him, be there for one another.
It's all hands on deck out here in Maury County. Unusual in the case, more streets closed than usual because power lines were down and they couldn't turn off the transformer, So they had to do a big workaround, but they're getting there, always getting there. So much more work to do. I'm Dennis Ferrier, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
I'm a mother. I have kids. I can't imagine the anguish.
Tonight, prayers for the Rutherford County School Director's son who was swept away in a storm drain by fast-moving water. We're told that this young boy needs a miracle to survive. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller now live in Rutherford County, where people tonight are praying for exactly that.
Yes, we're on Barfield Road off of New Salem Highway here in Murfreesboro, where there's been a lot of flooding, and you can see that right behind me with this road closure due to high water. Now, these severe storms have impacted several families, including 10-year-old Asher Sullivan. Now, that's why the community gathered today in Murfreesboro at Rutherford County School Central Office to pray for a miracle. Dr. Jimmy Sullivan says his son Asher was swept into their storm drain in their neighborhood and was severely injured. Dr. Sullivan explains the kids were playing in the water in the streets, and Asher got caught in the storm drain and was swept under the streets. He says he eventually came out in a drainage ditch and CPR was administered. Dr. Sullivan says his heartbeat was established, but the damage is substantial. The community is praying for Asher's recovery after a freak accident.
To show support, and I believe that where 2 or 3 are gathered in his name, God is in that midst, and I wanted to be here. I can pray anywhere, I get that, but I wanted to be here and pray with the Rutherford family.
Get well soon, and to the family I put, he's gonna get better, and don't worry.
He is receiving medical care at Vanderbilt, but he's in critical condition. Now, all Rutherford County schools were closed today due to flooding and storm damage, and they will also be closed tomorrow. Reporting live from Murfreesboro, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, Governor Lee and State Emergency Management Agency Director Patrick Sheehan touring several areas hit hard by yesterday's storms. After a stop in Franklin, both men toured some of the hardest hit areas in Murray County. The governor spoke to some storm victims, and at an afternoon news conference, he said while it is hard to see people whose lives have been turned upside down, he's always encouraged by the compassion he sees.
I think hope comes in a lot of different ways. It starts with the prayer from that next door neighbor when they come alongside them, but it's completed when we all do our jobs of assessing, accessing information for them.
Well, TEMA says it won't add the death in Murray County to the state's official count until it gets confirmation from the health department and medical examiner that the weather is to blame.
And just such an active day. You saw all the damage in some of those videos with some of our reporters right there. We had so many tornado warnings issued yesterday, severe thunderstorm warnings issued, 2 to 3 inch size in diameter hail, and several, it seems like it's going to be at least tornadoes. We're still working on all that. Those National Weather Service survey crews out doing a great job on all that. Here's a 24-hour time lapse of that moved through Middle Tennessee and into southern Kentucky too. It was just so active. It started in the morning hours, and then there was like about a 2 or 3 hour gap until about 1 o'clock. One tornado warning was issued, and then from about 2 o'clock or so until about 10:30, it was just nonstop tornado coverage. Not a single minute of a gap in between those tornado warnings. And then we had a little bit of a lull in the activity, and then that second round moved through a little bit later on in the night. Prompting the National Weather Service to issue a couple of more tornado warnings with that. So we have the National Weather Service crews in Nashville doing their surveys from these potential tornado paths, and then also the crews out of Memphis. So Memphis National Weather Service survey crews, along with also crews that are up in Louisville, they have all come down to help out with this. We just had such an active day yesterday. It's taken other offices' crews to come out here and even help survey some of this tornado damage. Right now, though, 2 preliminary tornado reports. This EF3 tornado, this was the one that moved through Columbia and Murray County. Right now, estimated max winds of about 140 miles per hour. The path length still to be determined once they get a little bit more surveying done. Path width about a half mile, 1 injury. Unfortunately, 1 fatality with that one. Up here into Robertson County, that was an EF1 tornado. Maximum winds about 90 miles an hour. So path length and width is still to be determined with that. But there's still several more places that those crews crews are going to have to go out and survey for potential tornado damage. So 2 right now. Would not be surprised at all, though, if that number jumps up several points higher than that. Right now, there's that boundary that was moving through, the cold front dropping to the south. That's taking some of that stronger activity down to areas like Mississippi on into Alabama and parts of Georgia, too. We're not having to deal with any of that right now. That moved on out of here, and we are totally in the clear from any sort of bad weather for the next several days. We have temperatures right now in the 60s and 70s most spots, mid to upper 60s out further east, 68 in McMinnville, 66 in Clarksville. We're at 76 right here in Nashville, and then we have some lower 70s back in some of our western counties. Also, calmer weather ahead for the weekend. Tomorrow's going to be a good day. Saturday and Sunday shaping up to be great days too. We are going to get a little bit cooler tomorrow. Temperatures actually dropping quite a bit below normal for this time of year, and then more rain returns early next week. We'll talk about all that here in just a bit.
Thanks, Brett. Helping us tell the story, the extreme weather that you yourself witnessed. For
$1,000. We've honored over 30 hometown heroes so far. We need your help to find more. Go to PonseyLaw.com, nominate a person, family, or organization today. They could be our next hometown hero.
Well, for the first time, a former Laverne police officer fired in a sex scandal shares his side of the story.
Ty McGowan, one of 5 officers, plus the police chief, let go for misconduct associated with former officer Megan Hall. Fox 17 News' Amanda Chen pressing McGowan tonight about what really happened.
Allegations in this independent investigation include Megan Hall and Ty McGowan having a sexual relationship that wasn't reported to leadership. McGowan is also accused of intimidating with intent to interfere with the investigation of this sex scandal and is one of several defendants in a lawsuit filed by Megan Hall. Here's what he has to say.
There was nothing for me to deny. I'm not involved in this case.
Ty McGowan had been at the Laverne Police Department for almost 20 years, most recently as an undercover sergeant. Would you consider yourself you were a leader of the Laverne Police Department?
In a lot of aspects, I was. I wore many hats.
The department quickly fell under fire after Laverne Mayor Jason Cole received a tip of inappropriate behavior from several officers.
I did not discuss this with the mayor at all. The only person that I was talking to was my direct commander, which was Chief Davis, who had asked me to look into this and keep an eye on it.
During interviews, Megan Hall claimed she had sex with McGowan. Did you guys have a sexual relationship?
That's false. That's completely fabricated. As previously stated, there's a phone call between her and Chief Davis that was not recorded. I really wish that phone call was recorded.
Why do you think she said that?
I'm not sure. However, somewhere in that conversation, maybe some promises were made, maybe not. I'm not sure. I can't testify to that. I'm just throwing that out there because before, my name was not even mentioned in this investigation.
So even when Hall's car was at your house, nothing?
Hall came to my house because of some concerns. I knew what was going on as far as mentally with her before through Sergeant Powell. She had voiced some things to him, and I had told him that he needs to cut off that relationship.
Months after the investigation, Megan Hall filed a lawsuit against the city of Laverne, Laverne's former chief, Sergeant Lewis Powell, and McGowan. Hall claims they colluded in using their authority to entrap her in degrading and abusive sexual relationships. She says that you coerced her into having sex based on promises you made to her about her job, offered to pay her if she set up an OnlyFans account managed by you. Do you deny all of that?
I deny all of that. And as far as the promotion thing is concerned, I couldn't even get the person that I wanted in my unit. So how in the world am I going to get her promoted? She's calling you a predator who groomed her for sexual exploitation. I was furious. I'm sorry. I'm holding it back right now. I'm a 49-year-old man that those words, they hurt.
McGowan claims he showed the text messages from Hall to Laverne's HR director, who headed the city's investigation.
So she was initiating all of this?
Everything. I never initiated not one conversation with her.
She sent you explicit photos and videos. Did you ever send any back?
No.
So you think there was nothing inappropriate that you did, that you started with Megan Hall?
No. No.
No text messages or flirty messages?
I did not initiate anything with her. Now responding to stuff, hey, yeah, that's whatever. Sometimes no response. Most of the time, no response.
However, Hall's lawsuit claims McGowan made repeated sexual advances. But in March, the city settled Hall's lawsuit and will pay her $500,000. However, the city denies any admission of liability, and no taxpayer funds will be spent to settle this lawsuit.
McGowan has been decertified, meaning he won't ever be able to serve in law enforcement in the state. But coming up next Thursday on Fox 17 News at 9, I ask him about what the city calls inappropriate text exchanges and his message to folks in the community who may have lost trust in the department. Reporting in the studio, I'm Amanda Chen, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Amanda, thank you. In a statement, the city of Laverne tells Fox 17 News it stands by its investigation of this matter and is committed to defending its findings in court.
All right, a mid-state really just recovering after a deadly weather outbreak yesterday. Still have some flash flooding warnings in effect.
Yeah, so, pretty much calmer weather now
Once
that system moved through. So not having to deal with much of any, no severe storms right now. So that is some very good news for us. That severe weather threat has now dropped to the south of here. But like you've been seeing all of our reporters covering that damage and the damage that Megan was talking about too. It got kind of bad yesterday. A lot of tornado warnings that the National Weather Service had to issue, severe thunderstorm warnings as well. Fortunately today, we had a couple of rounds yesterday. Typically we'll see that one round move through and then the event's kind of over. Yesterday that was not the case. So both of those rounds moved through and now finally we got some calmer weather for today. 76 degrees, our current temperature here in Nashville right now. It was mostly sunny for a lot of today. Today shaped up to be a pretty nice one after that round of storms moved through early this morning. Here's that cold front. It's dropped now well to the south of here. Still seeing some thunderstorm activity down there in parts of Mississippi and Alabama. Those shades of pink popping up down there. Those are all severe thunderstorm watches. And we had that tornado watch down there around the Alabama and Georgia state line. That has now been allowed to expire there too. Future track really not showing much more activity for us as we head through the overnight hours. We might see a couple of showers, barely just try to skirt into our far southern counties, into parts of Middle Tennessee here, but overall very dry for the rest of the night. For tomorrow, we're going to see more dry conditions. I don't think we're looking at much of a rain chance. As we head on into Saturday, a lot of us should stay on the dry side of things, but Saturday afternoon, we might get a few light showers that try to pass through mostly areas along and east of Interstate 65. Any rain that we pick up on Saturday, though, less than 1/10 of an inch. So it's really not going to do too much at all, anything bad to pile on top of the heavy rains that we had over the past couple of days. So that is some good news too. Again, most areas staying pretty dry for Saturday. Sunday, I think we're all dry too. Not really expecting much of a rain chance on a Sunday. Starting Monday, though, we're going to start to bring in a better chance for some showers and thunderstorms, and that's going to carry on over into early Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, into the evening hours. More of a rain chance right here in Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. Might see a little bit of a break on Wednesday. Thursday and Friday, though, more rain is in the forecast, more thunderstorms in the forecast too, unfortunately. I don't think we're going to have to deal with much of a severe weather threat for Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday storms. Thursday, Friday, though, some of the ingredients are looking kind of good, so we'll have to be keeping an eye out for Thursday and Friday. More details coming up here on your 7-day forecast in just a bit.
Also ahead, not an easy fix. We'll show you what's being done to work around these damaged TVA electric towers.
And a limited time, buy one, get one half off store-wide. Buy this sofa and get the love seat 50% off. Or get low monthly payments with no interest for 84 months. Only at Ashley.
Emergency management leaders across the mid-state are working hard to coordinate cleanup efforts and get power restored after our severe weather.
Well, here's where things stand tonight. The State Emergency Operations Center in Nashville right now is operating out of a level 4. That means that the agency has enough crews in place to support the needs of our cities and towns. NES says 300 people are still without power in our coverage area. However, they do expect to have all of these customers back online sometime soon. They have worked to restore power to nearly 6,000 households and businesses across the area.
Tennessee Valley Authority, TVA, now working to replace some high voltage transmission lines, really towers if you would. You see the damage there. The utility says high winds snapped 6 of these high voltage lines in the southern part of Middle Tennessee and some in northern Alabama. Power right now being rerouted around those damaged areas. As always, if you come across down power lines, even less significant than this, just assume they're still active and they can kill you. Be sure to call police, but of course do not go near them. New information continues to stream into the Fox 17 newsroom. You can get everything from road closures we know about, damage reports, to pictures and video of the storm damage. All of it at our website, fox17.com.
The Rutherford County community is praying for a miracle after a 10-year-old boy is in critical condition from a flooding accident. His story up next.
And coming up, we'll talk more.
Made from scratch heart-shaped biscuits. Hardee's. Goodness in the making.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by B.F. Myers Furniture.
Well, people across Rutherford County praying for a miracle tonight.
A 10-year-old boy is in critical condition there after fast-moving floodwaters swept him into a storm drain. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller now live in Murfreesboro, where flooding remains a problem tonight.
Yes, Scott and Megan, we've been driving around Murfreesboro today, have seen a lot of flooding, including earlier today. We saw a rugby field underwater, several road closures like the one right behind me here on Barfield Road. And unfortunately, it was due to a flooding incident that put 10-year-old Asher Sullivan in critical care at Vanderbilt Medical Center. Asher's father, Dr. Jimmy Sullivan, the director of Rutherford County Schools, and hundreds of people from the community attended the vigil at the central office for his son. Dr. Sullivan explains that the kids were playing in the water in the streets and Asher got caught in the storm drain and was swept under the streets. Dr. Sullivan says his lungs are severely damaged and he is not showing much brain activity outside of muscle jerks. So he emphasizes Asher needs a lot of prayers right now.
I was blown away. It was amazing to see the community come together united. It's something that we need in this time and age that we're living in.
I'm a mother. I have kids. I can't imagine the anguish. And so I do keep asking God to just wrap his arms around them and give them peace.
Asher was transported from Ascension to Vanderbilt and he is in critical condition. Now the community continues to pray for a miraculous recovery. Reporting live from Murfreesboro, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
As reports of tornado damage and other storm damage continue to trickle in, we are hearing stories about near misses and also close calls and people with a lot of cleanup ahead.
Well, here's a look at what you, our viewers, are dealing with and what you've been through, and of course where things stand tonight.
A powerful and deadly storm system wreaking havoc on Tennessee. Thursday morning in the eastern part of the state, Brittany Smart sent us these pictures. Residents stranded by washed out roads in Grundy County. This after the same powerful storm rocked the mid-state Wednesday night. Out in Smith County, trees toppled over on cars, damage to a church, and powerful winds took a front door right off its hinges. Making our way west in Cheatham County, Doug Ryan sends us high-rushing floodwaters. The Sycamore Dam 7 feet from flood stage. Up 13 feet, it's the 7th highest ever historic crest. A GoFundMe page set up for Spirit Horse Stables in Columbia after a debris-confirmed tornado touched down and wiped out the barn, leaving 6 to 8 horses severely injured. And Brian Watt sending in more tornado damage out of Columbia, one of the hardest hit areas in the mid-state. Meanwhile, flash flooding on Honey Run Creek off Horseshoe Road. And Goodlettsville wasn't spared either. This is near Old Spring Hill Pike, and campers stranded in high flood waters near the Grand Ole Opry RV Park. Impressive lightning taking over the night sky in Crossville. And Columbia Fire Rescue sending us a reminder of the impact of dangerous flooded roadways, an overturned semi-truck blocking the interstate. And the city of Spring Hill sending us these pictures, trying to spring back after the force of Mother Nature mangled and snapped power lines, damaged homes, took down trees and roofs right off of homes.
Well, tonight, Fox 17's news poll on X is asking how Wednesday's storms impacted you. And a wide variety of responses, the largest being 78% saying not impacted. That's a blessing. 2.1% of our respondents of 285 said we suffered damage. 8.1% said that we saw flooding, and nearly 12% say they lost power. The poll's live right now. If you'd like to weigh in, let us know what happened to you. Just use your phone, scan the QR code there on the right-hand side of your screen. It will link you to our poll, and we will update the results for you later in the newscast.
Well, the stormwater runoff has to go somewhere, and tonight that's causing the Cumberland River to rise to concerning levels in several areas. You can see the Cumberland in the video from earlier today taken by our Metro Center tower camera. That's on the left. Now on the right is a look at the Cumberland near Nissan Stadium where Katie is. That water is almost up to the walkway at Metro Center on the left, and you can see trees along the riverbank at the stadium already underwater. The Opry Mills Mall closed early today as a precaution. Back in 2010, floodwaters caused major damage to the mall. Speaking of Fox 17 News Chief Meteorologist Katie Morgan, she's live downtown in Nashville along the riverfront tonight, where she is seeing those rising water there firsthand.
Katie, it is pretty impressive to see how high it is. Where do levels stand right now?
Well, Scott and Megan, they are looking at about 37 feet, and that looks to be where it'll crest. Now, you can see how much rainfall we have had over the past 24 hours. This is our storm total, and a lot of the swaths where we saw 7, 8 to 9 inches of rain came from some of our northern counties. That water has to go somewhere. A lot of our tributaries and watersheds then bring some of that water down into the Cumberland River. So not only here downtown, but the Cumberland all the way up towards Dover and Clarksville are also looking at least action stage for this evening. And that again is the reason why it is so swollen behind me here. Now again, our flood warnings are area wide, a lot of them in our northern counties, again where we have seen some of those higher numbers as far as rainfall goes. And then taking a look at the Cumberland River graphic here, this shows us where it is expected to crest. And as I mentioned, again, we're looking at it to crest right around 37 feet, which is what it is behind me here. For perspective, it has not been this high since 2019, and before that, which crested at 40, by the way, and before that it was 2010 where it crested at 53. So we were a lot higher back in 2010, of course. Right now we want to set it in live to meteorologist Brett Luna. Brett, fortunately, we're looking at a couple of dry days ahead.
Absolutely, Katie, and thank goodness we need a little bit of a break in this rain. We got so much rain yesterday. You were just showing some of those rain totals, especially up there in some of our northern counties along the Tennessee and Kentucky state line. Tomorrow is going to be way different. We're actually going to cool down quite a bit. 72 degrees, our high temperature for tomorrow. Our average high temperature this time of year, we're in the upper 70s, around 79, so much cooler than normal. Also, not looking at really any rain chance for tomorrow, so that is some more good news. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we should stay relatively dry. On Saturday, can't rule out just a few light scattered showers. If we get any rain, though, less than a tenth of an inch of rainfall with any of that. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, more showers and thunderstorms possible. No severe weather expected for the earlier part of the week. By Thursday and Friday, some of those ingredients do look to get a little bit better, though, so we will be keeping our eye out on that, and then we are finally going to start to warm back up.
All right. 50 years. Let us fight for you. Call us at 615-242-9000.
Fox 17 News, Code Red Weather.
Your first line of defense when severe weather threatens.
Titans head coach Brian Callahan been getting to know his new team during this offseason, including his quarterback Will Levis.
Will Levis speaking with the media today for the first time this year, and as Fox 17 sports director Joel Jelenic explains, he's eager to get this new show on the road.
When Titans quarterback Will Levis met head coach Brian Callahan for the first time, he said it was a little awkward. Levis had just gotten done working out, showered, and said he was, quote, dang near naked when he met coach for the very first time. But the two then clicked and hit it off right away. Levis saying that he's excited to work with a head coach that has a long history with successful quarterbacks in the league, like Peyton Manning, Matthew Stafford, and also Joe Burrow. Levis also saying he's ecstatic about this new offense that Callahan is implementing. Levis describing the new system as confusing, not for him, but for opposing teams. He says there's a lot of moving parts to it, and it's designed to be confusing for opposing defenses. But by far, Levis says his favorite part about this new system is that he's going to throw the ball a lot. He's going to throw the ball a lot more than he did last year, and also in every type of situation imaginable.
Being able to throw the ball a little bit more, obviously that comes with the trust in the quarterback, and I got to earn that. But him making a point to me like, hey, we're gonna throw the ball. We're gonna throw the ball on first down. We're gonna throw the ball in all types of situations, and it's gonna be on you, and we're gonna trust you to do it. So that was cool to hear that, and makes me want to go out there and be the guy to do that.
Titans didn't spare any expense this offseason getting Levis the weapons he needed. On top of signing Calvin Ridley, Titans are also adding former Bengals wide receiver Tyler Boyd. Even though the move isn't official yet, Callahan and Levis say they're excited about what Boyd brings to the offense.
Tyler is a slot receiver. That's what he does. That's where he's made his money. That's where his production has come from. Most importantly, I think he's a awesome addition to the locker room.
I love it. I mean, for one, it means that they're not afraid to make those investments, and they want to go win, which is awesome to see.
Reporting from Titans practice facility, Jill Jelenic, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Still to come tonight, sheer terror, the quick action saving lives in Murray County.
Well, our bad weather has now moved out.
Help them get back on their feet. That's why I do what I do. You treat us like a person and not just another claim.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Ponce Law.
It was just eerie, I guess, because everything did get quiet, and then the shop door blew in, and then I just had to run for cover.
Terrifying moments and continuing coverage out in Murray County, one of the hardest hit areas where several people were injured, and we know a woman was killed.
Tonight, Columbia residents describe what they saw as the tornado ripped through their neighborhood. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker in Murray County tonight with that story.
In a press conference today, we learned that around 100 homes were damaged in some sort of form, 40 of which saw significant damage. We also went into some of the hardest hit communities to see just some of the devastation that these families have to grapple with. This is just some of the damage on Cardinal Trail. It's where Shannon McHugh rushed to in an attempt to get home to her husband, Adam Lazenby. But the storm hit sooner than expected, with 2 fallen trees trapping her car in. This while Lazenby says he wrote up the tornado on their property. Celebrating their 10-year anniversary this year, this couple now feels closer than ever. And although they're now looking at upwards of $100,000 in damage, they're just thankful their home is still standing.
Well, I was sitting in the shop waiting on her to get home, and then the back shop door blew into the hood of my truck, and I ran and just jumped in the back seat as the tornado just took the whole shop around me.
But you did see it. You, saw it all around you. He said it sounded like a freight train. It's cliche, but it really is that loud, like a train. It took most of the building with it. So his truck and the debris are still there. The truck saved him.
Tomorrow, TEMA says they're also going to be going back out into the community to do a more formal damage assessment. That's where they could also see what kind of aid or potential aid that some of these families may qualify for. For now, reporting in Columbia, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, flooding out in Cannon County causing some issues tonight. That is southeast of Nashville, about an hour in Woodbury. Now, the Woodbury water system down here has issued a boil water advisory after flooding at the water treatment plant impacting more than 11,000 customers, where tonight that sewage plant in Woodbury has also flooded. Officials telling Fox 17 that it is inoperable and inaccessible due to the high waters in the area.
Continuing coverage now on the storm damage in Robertson County, where high water made a real mess of a popular produce and flower market on Highway 41 right across from the Robertson County Fairgrounds. The flower tent is a fixture up in Springfield, selling in-season produce and flowers under the big top there. The owners, who operate Blocker Farms just outside of town, were hoping the water from Sulphur Fork Creek wouldn't get inside their tent. But it did. Kim Halsey says they lost a lot of plants, but were also able to save a lot.
A lot of people helped load up in the rain and filled a lot of trailers. And then we're going to unload them. We're going to put it back together, and we will be ready for Mother's Day.
That's optimism. Now, as for putting a number on the losses, Halsey says it'll be quite a bit, but in typical farmer fashion, she says we'll put it back together, and with God's help, we'll get through it.
All right, much of the mid-state in recovery mode, and we're drying out, cleaning up, and hopefully the threat is over.
For now, it is over.
now.
We're not going to have to worry about any more active weather for at least through the weekend. More showers and thunderstorms are going to move in as we head on into this upcoming week, at least for the start of it, and then maybe some stronger activity once we get to the later part of this upcoming week. Also, National Weather Service crews just talked about one more tornado area. The preliminary, they're going to go ahead and give an EF0. I'll show you that coming up here in one of my next weather hits. Get more details on that. But this is 3 now confirmed tornadoes that we have from the National Weather Service storm survey crews. Would not be surprised if that number goes up quite a bit higher, though, as those storm crews can get to more of that survey area. 76 degrees, our current temperature right here in Nashville. A pretty good night out there on Broadway. Quite a few folks out there. Here's that front that moved through. That is now well to the south of us. We are going to be cooler tomorrow behind that. Also not muggy either. I think it's going to feel very nice if you have any outdoor plans for tomorrow. Showers and thunderstorms still down to the area south of here. Parts of Mississippi and Alabama still in that severe thunderstorm watch. That's those shades of pink that are popping up on the map. All those storms will keep on dropping south. So again, we're not going to have to really deal with any of that for the rest of tonight. I think nearly all of us stay dry for tonight as well. Maybe a couple of showers in the far southern areas of Lincoln and Franklin County. That's about it, though. Everybody else pretty dry tonight. As we head on into tomorrow, I think more dry conditions are in store for us for tomorrow all day long. Saturday, we're going to start out the morning dry. Saturday afternoon, most all locations stay dry. We could get a few scattered light showers that try to develop in areas along and east of Interstate 65 Saturday afternoon. I don't think that's going to ruin your day at all, though. Very light rain, less than 1/10 of an inch of rainfall expected with that, which is good news after all the heavy rain that we've had through that led to those flooding issues. Not going to really impact that whatsoever. Sunday, I think we're dry. Not really expecting much of a rain chance for us on Sunday. Nearly all dry conditions. Monday, that begins to change up a little bit. More showers, a few thunderstorms going to be possible for us as we go throughout the day on Monday. Tuesday, more of that. Wednesday, we could see a little bit of a break in the activity, and then more showers and thunderstorms possible on Friday. We're going to have to keep our eye out for Thursday and Friday. Some of those ingredients are looking a little bit better as of right now, at least. Hopefully that changes, though. Lower 70s, our high tomorrow, mid 70s on Saturday, right at 80 on Sunday, mostly sunny and dry. So a great weekend for you earlier next week. It does get a little bit cooler, upper 70s with a better chance for showers and storms.
Hundreds of people across the mid-state remain in the dark tonight. The help for those
to 1 p.m.
Be prepared for the next storm. Download the free Fox 17 Code Red Weather app. Fox 17 News Farrier Files is sponsored by Bart Durham Injury Law.
The destruction across Middle Tennessee forced hundreds of people out of their homes.
Well, the Red Cross opening some shelters for you if you do need a place to stay. Now, volunteers are on the ground out in Maury County with a shelter at the West 7th Street Church. This is out in Columbia. The Sumner County Northfield Church. This is off Nashville Pike. The Rutherford County First Baptist Church on Main Street, and the Cannon County New Hope Church. This is off of Murfreesboro Road.
Tonight, Blood Assurance tells Fox 17 News there is an urgent need for donors while the severe weather continues and the cleanup of that. Storms led to cancellations of regular donors across Middle Tennessee. That's why the need is so critical. Blood Assurance says that it's staying in close contact with Murray Regional Hospital down in Columbia and also staying open around the clock in an effort to meet the ongoing need.
Well, earlier in the newscast, we told you about our X poll up and running right now, asking how did Wednesday's storms impact you? We've had about 300 people weigh in, and thankfully 76.6%, most respondents say they were not impacted at all. That's good news, compared to 12.7% that say they lost power, 8% had flooding, and 2.7% said that they suffered damage. Each night we'll have another update for you on these numbers. Coming up tonight at 10, each night look for a brand new poll on our X page that you can participate in.
Just ahead, tornado victims flying under the radar.
With America's best warranty, there's joy in every journey. Lease an Elantra for $189 a month or get up to $1,500 total savings. Plus, military personnel get an additional $500 bonus cash. Hurry in.
Continuing coverage tonight in Maury County, where animal shelter workers are trying to reunite pets displaced by the storms with their owners.
And they're getting some extra help from their neighbors tonight to help meet that need. Maury County officials say workers from neighboring Williamson County and the animal shelter immediately stepped up their efforts in the Columbia area after the tornado. Among other things, they sent med techs to help. If you have a lost pet or you find one, be sure to call Maury County Animal Services to get some help.
And you're looking live at the swollen Cumberland River in downtown Nashville this evening. Coming up, we'll talk about more impacts around the mid-state.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
It's now confirmed. New tonight, 3 tornadoes touched down in Middle Tennessee, leaving a path of destruction in their wake. The strongest, an EF3 storm that ripped across Maury County yesterday.
Well, we know that tornado killed a woman. This all during a rare tornado emergency, which is the highest level of tornado warning possible. But Maury County, not the only area reeling from these storms.
It was very tragic to my mama's heart. So I immediately went into prayer.
In Rutherford County, the floodwaters put the director of school's young son in the hospital.
Well, tonight, people from all over the community praying for a miracle for 10-year-old Asher Sullivan. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller has more on the outpouring of support.
We're on Barfield Road off of New Salem Highway here in Murfreesboro, and this area has been impacted by flooding. As you can see behind me, this road is closed due to high water. Now, these severe storms have impacted several families, including 10-year-old Asher Sullivan. That's why the community gathered together today at Rutherford County Schools Central Office to pray for a miracle. Dr. Jimmy Sullivan says his son Asher was swept into their storm drain in their neighborhood and was severely injured. He is receiving medical care at Vanderbilt, but he's in critical condition. Hundreds of people showed up today to show their support for this special family. The community is praying for Asher's recovery after a night of very scary storms.
I'm a mother. I have kids. I can't imagine the anguish. And so I do keep asking God to just wrap his arms around them and give them peace.
Dr. Sullivan says Asher has severe lung damage and very little brain activity, so he really needs this miracle. Rutherford County schools will also be closed tomorrow due to flooding and storm damage. Reporting from Murfreesboro, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
In Maury County, an EF3 tornado ripped through neighborhoods, claiming the life of 67-year-old Cheryl Lovett. That storm, packing winds of 140 miles an hour, also put at least 4 other people in the hospital. In all, 40 homes were destroyed and another 100 suffered damage. Fox 17 News' Dennis Ferrier now with stories of survival from those caught in the middle of the storm.
It was a wild ride all over Middle Tennessee, but you know by now that there's always a place or two that is particularly terrorized. In this case, it's Maury County, where this tornado just damaged homes and damaged lives. When a tornado looks like this, you know it's trouble. It's big, it's powerful, it's on the ground, and it's heading your way. Mike Petro is trying to get back to his neighborhood, a neighborhood in instant terror after that tornado hit.
Total. It's bad. Can't even get through it. Power lines. All community came together yesterday for about 45 minutes to an hour, just clearing one tree off the road, making people go through, walk people. down to their homes. Cars were left miles and miles down the road. People had to walk and run, screaming, my house, my mom.
This is the only home Tammy Johnson has ever known. 66 years here, all wiped away in moments.
I guess the whole front end up there had blew out and things started moving around, and I tried to get him over to I got a cord and put him at least like this on him. I said, we got to get downstairs. And then by the time I walked through there, like I said, I seen a lot of men standing out there. And he says, hey, you okay? I said, please come help me. At that point, I didn't know if it was going to fall in or not. Thank God it didn't. But I got out. They carried me through my mom's bedroom window.
Tammy is just happy to get out alive with her beloved dog, although she can't imagine what her late parents would think.
I guess I just tried to block it out, you know. It just makes me sick. I'm just glad my mom and dad's not here to see it.
It's all hands on deck out here in Murray County. Unusual in the case, more streets closed than usual because power lines were down and they couldn't turn off the transformer, so they had to do a big workaround. But they're getting there, always getting there, so much more work to do. I'm Dennis Ferrier, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Everything was flying around, what was on the floor, a lot of the debris.
Well, continuing coverage of the deadly destruction out in Murray County, and tonight we're hearing from a woman who watched as that tornado ripped through her home. Here's the aftermath off Cawthorn Road in Columbia. High winds taking off that roof. Unbelievable. And you can also see a whole lot of debris and downed trees. One man even said that he had to duck for cover just in time.
Well, I was sitting in the shop waiting on her to get home. And then the back shop door blew into the hood of my truck, and I ran and just jumped in the back seat as the tornado just took the whole shop around me.
Well, several other homes on this street also destroyed. Families say that they're still just trying to process what happened.
Continuing coverage on the damage from yesterday's storms in Robertson County now. The light of day today revealing quite a mess at the flower tent on Highway 41 across the street from the fairgrounds. It's a family-owned business, accommodation flower shop and produce market. They were hoping the water from Sulphur Fork Creek wouldn't get inside the tent. It did. They say the water came up fast, moved a lot of their pallets around. But when it comes to counting the losses, Kim Halsey's response is classic farmer. Choked me up.
I'm not really sure. We are just now starting to put it back together. It's going to be quite a bit, but we're going to put it back together. We're going to save what we can, and we're going to be okay. God's good. He is going to take care of us.
Flower tents now back open for business and expecting a big weekend ahead of Mother's Day.
Earlier in our newscast, we told you about our X poll asking the question, how did Wednesday's storms impact you? We've had over 300 people weighing in now, and thankfully, for the most part, 76.8% not impacted here, and 12.6% lost power, almost 8% at least saw some flooding, 2.6% suffered damage. Each night, look for a brand new poll on our X page that you can participate in.
And you were just seeing some of those damage photos that we were just showing in some of our reporters' stories right there. A lot of damage with some of those tornadoes. I want to show you this map. I've showed this over the past few hits now, and it really shows what we were dealing with yesterday. This round of severe weather, we actually had a couple of rounds, maybe even call it 3 rounds. We had one round move through early in the morning. That did bring out some tornado warnings that the National Weather Service had to issue early yesterday morning. And then earlier in the afternoon, we had a little bit of rain move through, thunderstorm activity. And then it just got so much more widespread as we went through the rest of the afternoon on into the evening hours. And then we had that final round move through during the overnight hours. You can see just how many polygons were popping up on that screen. Can't even count how many severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings were issued with that. So just a very active day for us yesterday. Fortunately, things are much calmer now. National Weather Service survey crews have been out doing some damage surveys. This is mainly from the Nashville National Weather Service office, but we've had to bring in crews from Louisville, also in Memphis. They have also been helping out with some of these damage surveys. We just had so much happening yesterday that it's taken a few more Weather Service offices to help out with some of these damage surveys. But right now, EF3 tornado confirmed. That was the one down in Murray County, went through Columbia. We had the EF1 tornado that was in Robertson County, 90-mile-an-hour winds with that one. And then just recently, they can now confirm a third tornado. That was the one down in southern Rutherford County, EF0, maximum winds 80 miles per hour. That one, path length almost 3 miles, and path width 100 yards. That one in Columbia was the strongest. Again, that was that EF3 tornado, maximum winds at 140 miles per hour. All that has now dropped south of us. We are not having to deal with any sort of bad weather through the rest of tonight. Temperatures in the 60s and in the 70s. As we go through the rest of the weekend, I think it's shaping up to be a really good one for us. A little bit cooler tomorrow, actually quite a bit cooler, and then we're looking at more of a rain chance as we head on into next week. So Katie and I were up here for a while. Greg came in too for the morning shift. We had full weather coverage of all these tornadoes that were moving through. We were tracking a lot of tornadoes yesterday, but another thing we were having to deal with was flooding. And Katie, I think you got a little bit more on that right now too.
Yeah, that's right, Brett. We're live down here at the Cumberland, downtown Nashville, and I'll tell you, the water is swiftly moving behind me here. In fact, it's cresting about now, which is about 37.5 feet. For perspective, it's actually the highest that it has been since 2019, where it crested right around 40 feet. Now, beside me, you can see a lot of places still dealing with flood warnings. With all of the rain that we saw, those raindrops flow into those rivers and little creeks and streams and tributaries. That has to go somewhere, and they end up in our larger rivers, which is one of the reasons why we have these flood warnings that are in effect. Now, we take a look at some of the rainfall totals that I just mentioned that brought us to this point, and some places, especially up in Robertson County and into Sumner County, saw anywhere between 8 to 10 inches of rainfall. So it really has been an incredible 24 hours, not only in the form of tornadoes, but in the form of flash flooding. We had a flash flood emergency up in Robertson and Sumner County as well, something that we have not seen since Waverly back in 2021. Fortunately, as you'd mentioned, the drier weather around for the weekend, we will hopefully start to see things quiet down, expecting again the river to crest here downtown tonight, and we'll slowly start to see it recede from
needed to prepare and stay safe. Fox 17 News, your Code Red station. Alerts, empowers, protects.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Tennessee Home Buyers.
And continuing coverage as former adult film star Stormy Daniels wrapping up her testimony in former President Trump's hush money trial in New York.
Now, Daniels in all spent more than 6 hours on the stand over 2 days, recounting her first meeting with Mr. Trump and their alleged affair back in 2006. The former president's attorney asked the judge for a mistrial, citing inaccuracies in Daniels' testimony today and when she first revealed her encounter.
Well, the judge rejected the motion, saying that there were many times that Mr. Trump's lawyers had many opportunities to object to her testimony and did not.
I'm innocent, and I'm being held in this court with a corrupt judge who's totally conflicted. Take a look at his conflict. It's a disgrace to the city of New York, to the state of New York, and to the country.
Now, today was the 14th day of the Trump trial. The former president pleaded not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records and denies ever having an affair with Daniels. Court will resume in the morning.
A warning from the president to stop sending weapons to Israel is a test in the long-standing relationship with America's Middle East ally. I'm Matt Gelka in Washington, and I'll have the story coming up.
The bad weather moved through yesterday and early.
Refinancing for 55 months. Don't wait. The Rooms to Go Memorial Day sale starts now.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Zander Insurance.
Making headlines tonight, President Biden's threat to withhold some weapons from Israel if they fully invade southern Gaza, sending shockwaves across the globe.
And as Fox 17 News' Matt Gulka shows us, that warning could be one of the toughest tests in the 76-year relationship.
Worried about the impact a full-scale assault on Rafah could mean for 1 million Palestinians sheltering there, the president is drawing his hardest line yet when it comes to supporting Israel.
We're going to continue to make sure Israel is secure in terms of Iron Dome and their ability to respond to attacks like came out of the Middle East recently. But it's just wrong. We're not going to supply the weapons and the artillery shells used.
The U.S. delayed sending 3,500 bombs that the president acknowledged played a part in killing Gaza civilians. The administration continues to push for a ceasefire deal and not an all-out invasion of the city. Republicans slam the threat.
What the president is doing here
is capitulating because of electoral politics, because he's concerned about the vote in Michigan and Minnesota.
It's totally pro-Hamas. I mean, he may as well just say that we're going to abandon Israel and they're no longer our ally.
While the decision is splitting progressive and pro-Israel Democrats.
It's a good step forward. I think we've got to do even more.
When they see America pulling back, even in the slightest, right, that is a message to Hamas of, we don't have to agree to a ceasefire.
Israeli forces began military operations outside the city earlier this week. Israeli officials appeared angered on social media following the warning. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reposted this video Thursday.
If Israel is forced to stand alone, Israel will stand alone.
The former president called the warning a disgrace on his way into court.
If any Jewish person voted for Joe Biden, they should be ashamed of themselves. He's totally abandoned Israel.
New York Democratic Congressman Richie Torres went a step further on social media, saying Biden's warning was mixed messaging and made a mockery of our credibility as an ally. It highlights how complicated the Israel war is for the president's base. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
Well, finally, much calmer weather after that just terrible round of severe weather moved through. It just seemed like it never stopped. A lot of times we'll get that first round that moves through. That just eats up all the energy, and then we're good to go. But we had one round move through, and then that second round moved through. And if you include that round that moved through very early yesterday morning, you can even say that we had 3 rounds of severe weather move through. So just overall, a very, very active day for us yesterday. Unfortunately, right now it stands 3 confirmed tornadoes from that event yesterday, and that number is likely to go up once those survey crews can get out to more of those damage areas. 72 degrees right here in Nashville. A busy night out there on Broadway. A lot of folks out on Broadway tonight. Great weather for it too. Not going to have to deal with any sort of bad weather. That cold front is to the south of us. We're going to be cooler tomorrow. Also not muggy at all. I think the weather, if you have any outdoor plans tomorrow, should be fantastic for you. Severe thunderstorm watch is still in effect for areas in our south, Louisiana, parts of Mississippi on into Alabama too, still dealing with some strong to severe thunderstorms. The good news though, we are free from all of that for tonight. Not going to have to deal with any of that bad activity tonight. As we head on into tomorrow, I think we are pretty much all dry tomorrow. Maybe a couple of showers up here in our far northeastern areas. If that develops though, very, very light. Nothing bad for tomorrow. Saturday more the same, but I think Saturday afternoon we could bring in a few very light scattered showers along into the east of Interstate 65. Less than 1/10 of an inch of rainfall though with any of those areas that pick up any of that little bit of rain. So nothing bad on Saturday either. Most areas will stay dry. Sunday I think is going to be another dry day for us. Not expecting much of a rain chance at all on a Sunday. Moving into Monday, showers and thunderstorms are going to start to build in. We're going to keep that rain chance around with us as we head through Monday night into Tuesday morning. More rain possible throughout the day off and on Tuesday. Wednesday, more showers possible early on, but I think we get a little bit of a break on Wednesday before more storms move in Thursday and Friday. I don't think we're looking at much of a severe weather threat with these rounds of rain moving through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, though, some ingredients are looking a little bit better, so we'll be keeping our eye out for the later part of the week. Rainfall amounts about an inch or so, 3/4 of an inch to an inch of rain with this rain moving through for Monday through Wednesday. So overall, nothing really too bad for us. This weekend shaping up to be a great one. Mid-70s on Saturday, mostly sunny and dry. Sunday, we're mostly sunny, a really good day too. We are a little bit warmer, but no rain still on Sunday. Monday, upper 70s, a 40% chance for storms Monday, 80% chance on Tuesday. It drops off a little bit the later we head into Wednesday, but then Thursday and Friday.
The BetMGM app, and it's on.
The Champions Wildcard competition continues on Jeopardy!
Well, Titans head coach Brian Callahan has been getting to know his new team in the offseason, and that includes his quarterback, Will Levis.
As Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick shows us, Levis says he is eager to get this new show on the road.
When Titans quarterback Will Levis met head coach Brian Callahan for the first time, he said it was a little awkward. Levis had just gotten done working out, showered, and said he was, quote, dang near naked when he met coach for the very first time. But the two then clicked and hit it off right away. Levis saying that he's excited to work with a head coach that has a long history with successful quarterbacks in the league, like Peyton Manning, Matthew Stafford, and also Joe Burrow. Levis also saying he's ecstatic about this new offense that Callahan is implementing. Levis describing the new system as confusing, not for him, but for opposing teams. He says there's a lot of moving parts to it, and it's designed to be confusing for opposing defenses. But by far, Levis says his favorite part about this new system is that he's going to throw the ball a lot. He's going to throw the ball a lot more than he did last year, and also in every type of situation imaginable.
Being able to throw the ball a little bit more, obviously that comes with the trust in the quarterback, and I got to earn that. But him making a point to me like, hey, we're gonna throw the ball. We're going to throw the ball on first down. We're going to throw the ball in all types of situations, and it's going to be on you, and we're going to trust you to do it. So that was cool to hear that, and makes me want to go out there and be the guy to do that.
Titans didn't spare any expense this offseason, getting Levis the weapons he needed. On top of signing Calvin Ridley, Titans are also adding former Bengals wide receiver Tyler Boyd. Even though the move isn't official yet, Callahan and Levis say they're excited about what Boyd brings to the offense.
Tyler is a slot receiver. That's what he does. That's where he's made his money. That's where his production has come from. Most importantly, I think he's a awesome addition to the locker room. He's a great human being. Great worker, and everything about him is what we want to be about.
I love it. I mean, for one, it means that they're not afraid to make those investments, and they want to go win, which is awesome to see.
Callahan was asked about what he's learned about his new young quarterback this offseason, and one of the things that Callahan mentioned first was Will Levis's work ethic. He says he's been very pleased with the work he's been putting in this offseason, and especially considering they've been throwing so much at him in terms of this new offense. A lot of fundamentals, a lot of technique work, and Callahan says that not only has Levis attacked all of it, but he's attacked it with enthusiasm, and he's seen it transfer already from the meeting room to the field. Reporting from Titans practice facility, Jill Johnlick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
After a diagnosis of breast cancer, she is paying it forward. I'm Liz Bonus. We explain how.
Different websites, different definitions of blue. Designed with us, not the internet. That's part of Haverty's regret-free guarantee. It's time to expect more from furniture shopping. Haverty's, we furnish happiness.
In health news, a breast cancer survivor wants more women to have access to new technology that can stop the hair loss that comes with cancer treatment.
Fox 17 medical reporter Liz Bonus sharing the message behind a generous donation.
Hey there, everybody. Hello to you. After a breast cancer diagnosis several years ago, Francie Pepper says her family decided to pay it forward. She was able to keep her hair using this kind of a treatment. And thanks to this technology, she wanted to make sure many other women had the same option. It all started when early on in her treatment, Francie and her husband John, who is the former CEO of Procter & Gamble and also a cancer survivor.
He had bladder cancer, and they didn't give him a chance. And he's been a survivor for over 16 years now.
Made the decision to have Francie treated at Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York.
I was there for 10 months with weekly chemotherapy, weekly.
There, Francie was given the option of using a cool cap, much like this one, to reduce hair loss during treatment. It's hooked up to a machine that chills the scalp.
It's a mix of ice, water, and alcohol, and it helps the patients freeze their hair follicles.
Recently, when Francie needed treatment again, she told me she made the decision to have it close to home here at Ohio's Christ Hospital. The problem, there aren't enough cool caps here for women who need them. So Francie and her family made the decision to change that.
A woman who has no hair is announcing to the world that she's sick. And then the questions begin. I mean, women get all the questions. Can you do your job? Do we want you out in front of the public without any hair? Do we want to announce that? You're telling everybody you're sick, and that shouldn't be right.
Francie and John made a generous donation recently of more than $100,000. Enough, the team here says, to completely change the limited cold cap supply.
Francie and John's gift has allowed it to go to 3 of our outpatient centers so that the patients can just be close to their area and receive this treatment there.
Francie is still in treatment now for metastatic disease, but she says she hopes this donation sends a message to others living with cancer not to give up hope.
You can't give up. If you give up or you don't, I mean, then you're done for. and I'm not giving up on anything.
Now, there are several varieties of this technology. If you do need cancer treatment, ask your healthcare provider if this kind of treatment is an option for you. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
All eyes on you, buddy.
All right, well, I guess, hey, it's
No pressure.
No, none. Yesterday was the big day.
That's right.
Beyond that, I mean, it's looking really good, at least for the weekend. If you have any outdoor plans this weekend, shaping up to be a really good one for you. 72 degrees, our high temperature tomorrow. Also, not humid tomorrow. I think tomorrow's going to be a good day. Saturday, mid-70s, Sunday, lower 80s, and then early next week, we start to bring in a better chance for some more showers.